All right, I am about to start playing a game. These settings all seem fine. We'll send out a challenge and wait for somebody to respond. And then remember that I should have opened the Twitch dashboard first, but that's fine. All right, just waiting for a game. It might take a while because I think OGS had some sort of problem and like disconnected and restarted everyone or something. So I think there were a bunch of games in the list of possible games. So we will see how long it takes for somebody to accept. All right, got a game against a 9K. That could be better because I've had a couple drinks, so that's great. I will play normal. Normal is a fine place to play. And my opponent will also play normal. All right, now I actually have to think. My opponent has enclosed one corner. I will approach the other one. And I got pincered. What do I want to do? Do I want to jump in the corner? I could also come out on this side and ask a question. I could also ignore that for now and come play over here somewhere. Let's come play over here. All right, I got kicked. That is a fine move. It's kind of what I get for ignoring that. Can I play here? Do I stand up? I guess I'll stand up. It is not ideal because there's this stone here, but so it goes. All right. So now let's see if we can induce my opponent to run out. No, I will get counter-pincered. Yeah, let's play here. All right, well, this is exciting. What do I do? That feels okay. All right. So my opponent probably kills these stones, although there's some OG, but now this stone is pretty sad. It can be surrounded pretty easily. All right. Do I even care about trying to save those stones at this point? Or do I just come across here or here or something? I kind of like that. You may connect underneath, which is fine. All right, nope, black plays, or white plays elsewhere. I don't really want to pincer that myself, so I'll just play peaceful. Oh, no, that's not what I expected. I might just come down here. I could also, like, I'm worried about what happens if he pincers me here again. I could just enclose here, maybe. And now he goes in the corner, which is fine. Do I actually care about that move? It is a big move, but it's not a very Sente move. Yeah, we'll play it anyways. Kind of expect my opponent to come play over here somewhere now. Or he can come out. That's also not bad, preventing from getting what's the word I'm looking for? Getting sealed in. But I will just come and take a move over here. I maybe could have gone one closer, but this is a pretty strong position, relatively speaking, so I didn't want to leave quite that wide a gap here. And he takes that big move, which totally makes sense. So, what now? This is kind of a nice reduction, because if white gets this spot, this area becomes pretty large. And it's kind of at the edge between my territory and white's. So that's pretty tempting. Where else might be good? There's always the chance of trying some additional shenanigans here, although that's for later probably. Both of these are kind of interesting, but I might do them later. Let's go ahead and try this one. There's a bit of a weak point right here, which it would not surprise me if my opponent exploited that immediately. No. Came back this way. All right, well, this will be some kind of fight. So I think I want to keep white from getting a base here. Yep, and then white goes underneath. If I try to cut this off, there's a cut here, obviously. I can Atari and get a Ponuki, but it can be cut off over here. So let's do that. And white can be alive here, but is going to be kind of kept very small. because of kind of crawling on the second line here. Might as well take that. White has to connect, of course. And this feels like reasonably sente. I guess white could attempt to push up here, and I can block and cut. Yep. So this move might have been a little bit wasted, but it's not too big. Oh, or not. Do I connect solidly or do I connect with a tiger's mouth? I think I will connect solidly here. Yep, all right. So I have to be a little bit worried about this invasion. Can I just cut this off? I think I should defend first and then cut or wedge in here probably. All right. So this corner is becoming a little bit dodgy. I don't quite think I owe a move yet, but I do have to be worried about this connection becoming a thing. Let's ask white if he wants to stay connected here, and then wedge in here. All right. So I need to protect this cut somehow. And I would like to do so while making some shape for eyes. Let's do that. Okay, white comes back to kill these. That is fine. This is a somewhat big move. I do worry about this group not quite being settled yet, although it looks like it has enough shape to make eyes or run to something else. So let's try that one. So white is leaving some cutting points here. But I don't think I can use them quite yet. Yeah, I'm a bit at a loss for where to play next. Can attempt to connect stuff up here. I feel like I need to... Can I Hane here? Would be nicer in terms of territory, but I have to worry about getting cut. Either here or here. Let's just give everybody problems. I feel like I'm slightly behind in this game, which is not surprising. My opponent is stronger, and I'm live streaming, and I've had a couple drinks. So, yeah, it's a little bit bad. It's like I have weaknesses, my opponent has weaknesses. That kind of turned out okay, I guess. Question is, I can move here. It's not like Sente, though. So let's try walling off some of this middle. I think actually White's group here is going to have some problems. Because this is being played right in the middle of my influence, and he kind of has no friends nearby. So that's fine. He can cut this group in half. Okay. Yeah, that is a weak point that I had pointed at earlier and kind of forgotten about. But is it actually a weak point? I could just respond simply somewhere around here or here. My concern here is that White plays at R6 and then connects. Well, let's see. White plays R6. I push here. You can attempt to connect here. I can block here, but then my single stone will get captured. So that kind of doesn't work for me. So I think I need to make a move like this, just to kind of connect all of this area and make sure it stays together. All right, so he's decided I'm alive enough. And I have to decide. I mean, the nice thing about this is I kind of get to wall off this territory. I do have to worry about this connection. Indeed. But I think I have enough strength to just cut that off. Especially now that this group is got this group to kind of play around with. Now, if he starts a ladder, that runs right there. If he Ataris this way, that buys nothing. So I think I just do that. All right. So there is a trade-off here in terms of direction, because if I want to make sure this group is connected to this group, I need to play here, but I'd also love to get a wall here and make some territory. So I think I play here, and if White plays here, I come back and kill these two stones. So I kind of have two different ways for this group to be alive, potentially. And now it's up to White to choose which of those is better. All right, so if I defend this one, That seems okay. White may come underneath here and connect these together, which is kind of an out that white has had here for this whole time. All right. White has given up that plan, at least for now. And I will happily block and make some territory. Okay, there's definitely cuts here, so how much do I have to care about them? If white cuts here and I connect, it really seems like this stone can't. Seems like a stone here would have a hard time surviving. This stone would be more interesting, but I think I can just do this. Oh, really? That is 1 point. I really don't have to care about that. I'll play that. That is a pretty big move. Might even be Sente because I might be able to cut this stone off here. And certainly it protects the corner. Yep, all right. So I got a big move in Sente. That's nice. And let's come down here and make sure these can't be connected. This is a point where I should probably count and figure out whether I'm actually ahead or not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Assuming these die, 38, 39, 40. So getting close to like 85 or 90 points, that feels like a lot. Let's see what white has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 19 is 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Maybe white is slightly ahead. But it's close enough. I'm wondering if this move is anything. Like, do I even need to respond? I guess I do. All right. That is fine. I think this move is bigger than protecting this, probably. Maybe it's not. This is kind of funny. Does this work? Really? Yeah, okay. So that's a pretty, well, assuming I haven't misread something, that's a pretty serious reduction. Let's see, can I come here? If white comes down, yep, so white captures those 2 stones, but I have poked at some stuff there. And reduce white's points by a little bit. That feels like a fairly big move. This is a little bit dangerous if I don't make this connection be strong, so we'll make sure we're strong here. There might be some kind of garbage in this corner now. I think I could connect solidly and be okay. All right, so now we're having this fight. Obviously need to connect. And now we see whether white can actually kill something here. So if I go here and white cuts, I push up. And that is pretty dangerous because this group would only have 3 liberties. So if white plays here, I'm down to 2, but he also only has 2. I think that's okay. So now we see if I misread something. Oh, if white moves here and I have to fill here, there might be problems. I do have this 1 liberty over here, which helps. But it might also be problems. Okay. My opponent did not do that. But I would definitely feel safest connecting this somehow. I think that is the fine way of connecting that. Curious now, I feel like I'm ahead. Let's see what the score estimator says about my status. White by 2.5, so very close. Although, yeah, there's some area here that's indeterminate. So yeah, this is a very close game. Do I want to fight a Ko over that 1? I feel like white just generated Ko threads over here. So I can ignore the Ko. I can just fill in. What Ko threads do I have? Yeah, I feel like white just has more. feel like this does not immediately threaten any groups. And if white just fills in, I can actually kind of break into this area here. I guess the problem is white might be able to push up here and cut this group back off, which would be bad. So I could fix that directly. Or I could actually make some co-threads somewhere and try to kill something that is not already dead. Problem is all of white's remaining groups are reasonably solid. So I can only kind of do small threats. All right, so white fills that in. And then I do have to worry about this being an Atari and also cutting off this group. So I think I need to fix there. And then white gets a stone, which is fine, because it's kind of a wash because I'm going to get a couple points on this edge, assuming he takes that. If he doesn't, I can just take him and it's still kind of a wash. All right. He took there. Yep. This is actually a little bit, feels like that went better for me than for white somehow. Because I got to push in. And I also have Sente, so where is my next move? This is, well, actually, that might not be Sente, because my opponent may not care. That is a pretty big defensive move. I now have some co-threads here. Boy. Yeah, I just don't know. There's a lot of very small moves here. There's nothing that jumps out as like huge. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot. Could certainly go with defensive. Oh, Do I need to be careful here? I did not even notice that. This is potentially a problem if this group gets cut off. I have to be very careful about this Liberty getting filled because there could be a snapback sort of situation here. So Minimax in chat says this is complicated and seems dangerous. This actually feels less complicated than my last game, which I'm a little bit surprised by because my opponent is nominally stronger than me. And I've also had a couple drinks, so maybe it just doesn't seem complicated. But actually this game has been fairly straightforward. There haven't been a whole lot of deaths or anything. Okay. If I just take that, then what? Then white gets to make co-threats. I am confused about this move. There's some sort of trick to short me of liberties or something. Let's see what Score Estimator says about my score. White by 4.5. It's a very close game. So if I take, yeah, I feel like if I am in fact losing by a little bit, I've got to try and do something. Let's see. That is a pretty solid threat. So sure, go ahead and take the co. I can threaten these two. That is maybe my biggest threat. But then these are going to get threatened again. So I feel like I should just fill. All right, so I am curious. This feels like it might work. So I move here, white connects. I move here, white's got to go there. No, it is one move away from working, which is always the saddest thing. Feels like another point or so. Am I going to be able to take any territory in the bottom left? No, this is very solidly white's. Like this corner, this stone plus this stone with optimal play gets black a co, but with these other stones over here, that much ain't even gonna happen. So there's not really any points down there. The biggest thing, if I can like this group is kind of this fat dumpling, and I may be able to cause some problems here. So let's see. If I go here, white goes there, I go here. So the thing I have to watch out for is this group will only have 2 liberties after I play here. So if white plays here, I take. White plays there, I can connect, but I might be dead,
10,
which is a little dangerous.
9, 8, 7, 6,
and white only seems
5,
further ahead according
4,
to Score Estimator.
2, 1.
So let's try it and see what happens. Because if you're losing, you might as well try something and see what happens. Okay, he did come back and do that. I do get this as a forcing move. Yep, so he has to connect to that. Is my group in danger here yet? If he plays there, I take.
10,
He plays there,
9,
I can connect.
8, 7,
Becomes a little
6,
bit dangerous looking.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, now we find out how dangerous it is. Let's see. I feel like I want to do this. I may have some problems.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Maybe I don't have problems, or maybe my opponent has Tanuki'd to trick me. Never can tell with opponents. Wow, he wants to start a fight over that? Am I missing something? If I take this,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
he
4,
can Atari this
3,
stone and send me
2,
down this way.
1.
If I just connect, there's not really any problems. Like, yes, he can Atari, but I can take this one. And if he connects that, then I come back here and we're back to where we started. Actually, it would get me this forcing move first. I don't think it matters, but I feel like that was maybe minus 1 point for white. So unfortunately at this point, white has Sente in the end game, so all I can do, undo requested. Yeah, okay, fine. I see your misclick. Fine. And I guess I should play at that other point. Did I count already? Well, sort of. I used score estimator, which now says I'm ahead. I don't know if I believe it, but if I do, that's good.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, well, I need to not time out. That would be dumb. So let's play some move. That one is worth a point at least. This one is also worth a point. So that is an absolute forcing move, because this whole giant group is an Atari. All right. What moves are left? This is a move. So I'm really surprised, assuming score estimator is now correct, I'm surprised it must have either not counted something correctly before, or because I don't know how I made up, you know, supposedly from being 5 or 6 points behind to being 10 points ahead. But I won't complain. Are there any points left on this board at all? I don't think
10.
so I'm gonna pass. So these white stones are dead. Yup, I don't think those are dead. All right, so I lost by 3.5. I don't know exactly how that is, but all right, let's review the game. That was in fact very close. And again, I'm kind of surprised why or how. So let's see. I am black. Yes, my opponent asking for the concession, not clear. So this, I didn't really know how to respond here. I don't think my response was good. Normal would be to jump in the corner and, you know, depending on what exactly white does, you know, do something like that, get a little living group. Instead, I came back here and did this, which immediately became complicated. Because now this stone is pretty sad and doesn't really know what to do, and white gets kind of this big whole corner pretty much for free. And this is so this is a big corner for white, and I feel like this extension over here doesn't quite compensate for it. We then get into this kind of complicated fight where we end up kind of trading. I let these 2 stones get swallowed. He lets this 1 stone get swallowed. That's a little bit better for black in that I've spent 2 moves that are kind of useless, and he's spent only 1 that's kind of useless. But I am a little bit further out here and maybe a little bit stronger, so it's probably okay. This one, we end up playing a totally normal Joseki in the backwards order. Normal would be for him to come here, me to come here, him to go there. We ended up playing basically those same moves, except he went the other way first. So it doesn't really change anything except that I kind of like this because I get a little bit more over on this side than I would otherwise. At least my opponent is being talkative and nice, which is cool. And here, I feel like at this point the game is roughly even. White has a pretty big whole bottom side. I have kind of a top right and a top left that's maybe a little bit squarer and thus bigger, but also easier to kind of invade over here. I think wanting to play this move makes me feel like R7 was a mistake and it should have been R6. I was worried about something like this, like another one of these we pincer each other and get into a fight sort of things. But it feels like that would be even, so maybe I shouldn't have been scared of that. Because then when my opponent plays here, this is kind of a nicer... Oh, my opponent is also reviewing the game. Sure, let's see what my opponent thinks. This will be kind of interesting. It's tricky to review a game with somebody non-interactively because he is driving, and so who knows what he's getting at. my with group would be weak. I think my opponent's native language is not English, which is fine. Wow, it's really hard to understand what's going on when somebody else is driving this thing. Apologies as I type to my opponent and say some of the same things that I just said. But I feel like if my opponent's going to go ahead and review the game, I might as well see what he was thinking. Afraid of my Moyo in the middle. That's why I was trying to go there. And you did the points at the side I did not take care of. So that cut does not work. What else was kind of interesting here? If I compare position 36, if I compare it to what? Left side is much stronger than my bottom. That I will agree with. It's like, I have an invasion point, but I'm not sure if it lives. Oh, whoops, I just realized that the chat does not, all of what my opponent is saying is not showing up on Twitch. Let me, oh, nope, that doesn't work. All right, well, that'll be a thing I have to fix in my Twitch config, I guess. So my opponent is saying I would have an invasion point around J3, and I'm like, I'm not entirely sure that this would survive, but certainly J4 seems okay. Because this has space to run into the center. Or even, like, really what I want to do is something like that, and then come do something like this. All right. And my opponent is suggesting something like that. This still seems so dangerous to me, though, because maybe it's okay. I'm not sure. I don't buy my sequence. Yeah, all right. That seems plausible. Go Gentleman is streaming a Fuseki lecture right now. He's a 9-dan on Taijam. That is pretty cool. Is that on Twitch, I presume? I'm gonna at least finish reviewing with my opponent here. Yeah, I was always wondering how I could get some big points, but you are always very strong. Thank you. So I just don't see why you lost. Well, by having problems. Yeah, I would be super curious. I may load this game up into a program and at least ask a computer what the score estimate is at every point here. Yeah, this is a big corner. He's got basically roughly about 4 times 19 points just on the bottom here. So that's 80 something of his 100 and whatever it was points. My opponent says I did not see the monkey jump was very big there. Yes, but my go was shit. Um, it's like yeah, so my opponent says he did not see the potential connection here, and I probably wouldn't have seen it either. But I did read a book not too long ago that had a problem of exactly this form of two groups that looked possibly dead and that you could connect by jumping down to the first line here. So I was kind of thinking about that in mind. Yeah, this doesn't actually work. I can't cut here because it shorts me a liberty, and he can take. Although, that's interesting. He can't connect there, uh, but he can do that, and then this is like that. I think that's the same number of points. Anyways, yeah, that was a crazy close game. I feel like generally I played well aside from, yeah, letting this big corner go away. And at least my opponent doesn't see any major errors either. So it will be interesting to either have a stronger player review this one or, like I say, get a computer program to give me a score estimate every so often. And at least see what that thinks. The score estimator on OGS is completely terrible and cannot be trusted, which is good because it forces me to count. Although, again, at the end of the game, I was obviously short on time to count. I should get in the habit of doing so earlier and kind of like memorizing how much points each individual territory is worth. But I am not quite there yet. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'm going to take a break, but I'll probably be streaming again this weekend at some point. Yeah, I think if I made mistakes, yes, they were strategic instead of tactical. I don't feel like I lost any fights or had anything go in a different way than I was expecting. So yeah, the big mistake here maybe was once I came across and did this move. I was thinking, okay, let's just make some points over here, which is pretty big, but definitely this fight, even though I end up winning it, once white comes back here and makes this move, this whole area is uninvadable. There's nothing reasonable I can do here and expect to have a living group. Certainly there's unreasonable things I can do. I can try playing here, but if my opponent plays correctly, this should just die. If this stone is not here, it's a ko, but with stones in both directions from a 4-4, this should just be dead. And I don't think there's anywhere else that's more open. I mean, I could try some BS like this, but it just really should not work. Anyways, thanks for watching. I will do more of this, but it is time to take a break for now.